Hello.
And welcome to the Comma Queens podcast. I'm Alex.
And I'm Annie. And today we are very excited to be doing another installment of our buddy read of Garden of the Dead Flowers.
It is getting so interesting.
It really is. We are almost at the season finale.
Yes.
So, I mean, honestly, there are just so many twists and turns. I was not ready, and we've talked about it. Not at all.
Yeah. We left off on a cliffhanger in the last installment as well. So when we left off last time, Wim was just starting to talk to Ruse and leading her away from the movie theater. Mm-hmm. And now we get to see what happens next.
I know. Honestly, it just does not sit right with me. I mean, already by episode 16, I was like, oh my gosh, he's doing it again.
Well, duh. He's a serial killer. What do you expect?
I know.
He leads people away. So, we're getting ahead of ourselves. He is walking with her. Ruse is trying to talk to him, and she's apologizing for what she did previously at the party. She's like, I'm sorry. I shouldn't have done that. I was just, I just really like you so much, and it made me jealous to see that you were more interested in Saruni than you were in me. And he's like, interesting. I'm going to kill you.
Yeah, no, literally the imagery here of him snickering to himself.
Oh my gosh.
While being like, yeah, I totally accept your apology. We should go on a date.
Yeah.
Yeah. It is horrifying.
I mean, I can't get over it. I love it. When he looks so deranged, it's peak art.
I know. Honestly, like the fact that you can see his thoughts. So in episode 16, my favorite part is the fact that while she's apologizing and everything, he to himself is saying, you really do deserve to be buried in my garden.
Yeah.
And like the separation of like the outward being so doting and caring and kind and the fact that he's just so demented in the head.
And it's just like, it's so great. You can see him switch on and off so quickly. Like when he's looking over to himself, you see him kind of having his moment where he's like, yes, this is my next victim. And then when he turns back to her, perfect gentleman smile again. Looks so disarming, and she would never expect that she's walking into her demise.
No. But of course she is.
Yes.
He immediately invites her to the garden. He's like, let's go on a date right now.
Yeah.
At what is it, like 7 o'clock at night?
Yeah, I'm going to take you away from your friends. Come on a date to my house.
Which to her, I mean, she's just like, I'm in love with this guy.
Yeah.
But, yeah, we all know what's in the garden.
Yeah, so they sit and they have tea, and she starts to feel sleepy after drinking the tea.
Yeah, to the point that even Felix isn't supposed to drink the tea. The cat.
Oh my gosh.
My favorite character.
Yeah, I mean, we never found out if the cat is a grandma or not.
I mean, on it could be the season finale.
Yeah, maybe. That's coming up in the season finale.
We all know that these are the hard-hitting questions that we need answered.
Oh my gosh, yeah. And then he says that he's going to let her live for a bit longer. So she kind of comes to, she's tied up in a shed, and she starts freaking out, as anyone would do.
You know, when finding themselves waking up and tied up in a shed.
Yeah.
But yeah, basically he just kind of starts shushing her and telling her that she should be so grateful that she's going to get to be buried and turned into a flower. Not sure I'd be grateful in that situation.
Yeah, I think I'd be a little concerned.
Yeah, but basically, when he ended up telling her in the garden, like, yeah, all of these flowers have grown beautifully after being,
Yeah, he basically
grown on top
says
of corpses.
The secret, like, oh, I'm going to tell you a secret. My garden is made up on top of dead corpses.
And she's just like, you're so funny.
That's not, I mean, if someone said that to me, I don't think I would find it funny.
I wouldn't find it funny in any case. I don't care how in love I am. My husband looks at me and tells me that he literally plants flowers on top of dead people. I'd be like, we're not married. You weirdo.
So we see her tied up. She gets put in a box, basically. She is terrified.
Mm-hmm. And he essentially says, I'll just give you some time to think about your sins.
Yeah.
and says goodnight.
Good night.
Gute Nacht. But yeah, he essentially closes her into this box where she gets stuck. It is absolutely wild. We knew it was coming.
But still seeing it. And it's so well done. It is so well done. So we open up on the next episode. That is where that episode leaves off. Mm-hmm. And at the beginning of the next episode, we see the bulletin board. There is a missing person poster, and it is Ruse. She's missing. And people are talking about this is, multiple people who have gone missing, and her dad is, distraught. As anyone would be.
Yeah. I mean, even just the regular townspeople, even if they're not distraught specifically for Ruse, they're scared because this is now, 17 or something victims they were saying. People are afraid to go out at night, and they're like, man, we really just want someone to get caught. But they have no idea what's going on. And again, she's just one of many victims at this point. Mm-hmm. So we then see Saruni, or Camilla, and Juna going to greet their friend Tugaman and his sister Karti. Mm-hmm. They're going to prepare some food for him because, again, Tugaman had injured his arm. And, they're just kind of trying to be good friends at this point. And it's such a sweet moment. Again, so different from all of this, dark imagery that we're seeing before. They're just excited to be eating this delicious food and cooking together. And we just kind of see them having a nice little time where the little kids are trying to help Saruni in the kitchen, and she kind of feels bad because as she's talking through all the food that she's making for them, they're like, wow, we usually only have salted rice. Mm-hmm. And she's like, God, I'll never be a picky eater again.
Yeah, she's saying, oh, I'm such a picky eater. I usually don't eat all of this stuff. And it's making her realize her privilege now.
I know. So I think she's really kind of coming into her own at that point. But basically, she just kind of has this moment where she's like, I'm with all of these people and I'm having such an amazing time. But eventually, I'm either going to have to leave or I'm stuck here with these people. What happens if they figure out that I'm not Saruni and I'm her granddaughter from the future? How crazy does that sound? Mm-hmm. And she just kind of... I think she's just trying to wrestle with that internally as to whether or not she should say something or if it's just a secret she has to keep with her until she either leaves or just to the end in general.
Well, and Juna even brings up too, he's she's eating something that previously she didn't eat. And so he says to her, which multiple people have said to her before, you're a completely different person since you've had this amnesia. You like things that you didn't before. Your personality is different. Mm-hmm. And so that is kind of fueling the fire for her thinking am I going to have to confess to what's going on? Is anyone going to believe me if I tell them that I'm from the future? And yeah, it's a hard thing to deal with.
I would not believe anybody who told me they're from the future. I'm not going to lie.
Yeah.
So I can understand that she's really struggling with that. Because people would immediately go, you're insane.
You're insane.
But yeah, that's kind of where we leave off with episode 18. We kind of see the internal struggle for Camilla, whether or not she should be telling people. And I think just in general, I think she's getting homesick, but also is weirdly settling into everything that's going on. Mm-hmm. I loved this episode. It's a nice little break from all of, again, just the thriller aspects of the story.
Well, there is that really cute part too where Juna starts feeding Tugaman the rice. And he just looks so mad about it. It's a playful scene. It's just so cute.
I mean, to be fair, if you broke your arm, I would feed you rice.
Thank you.
But moving on to episode 19, we basically open up. Everyone's back in school. And Kat has given Saruni a bunch of books that she's been needing. And meanwhile, who's to approach her other than Wim with a book saying, hey, I need you to take these notes for me. And again, you see his arm shaking. He's still injured from when he got the boiling hot tea poured on him. Mm-hmm. But basically, Kat is just kind of over here kind of being like us as the reader, just aw, we're going to ship them together. So cute. And then immediately retracting it when she realizes that Wim is like kind of condescending about asking for help. It's so funny. Honestly, like Wim is just sitting there like, I need the help, but make sure you don't miss this. And also this and this.
Well, and I mean, Kat still knows him from like childhood and stuff. So I feel like she gives him a lot of leeway.
Yeah.
Where other people probably don't. So she still wants them to end up together.
I know. She just says, what a fool.
Yeah.
When she sees him being all dry towards her.
Yeah.
But honestly, it is so cute. I do love their dynamic. But you do see this girl in the back of the class who's kind of like staring Wim down. Mm-hmm. She looks like she's kind of having a little bit of a panic by herself. So Wim just kind of catches it, and it looks like just a really uneasy exchange.
Little tension.
Tension.
This is also where Camilla finds out that Ruse has gone missing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And honestly, like she's sitting there thinking to herself, like, oh gosh, we were together, so I don't think it was my grandpa, but maybe it was my grandpa.
Yeah, and she's thinking about like the party and how he saved her from the water, and like, does that kind of play into it? Was he pissed about that? He was.
Yeah, he was. To be fair, if I got hot tea poured on me, I'd probably be a little upset.
I mean,
I wouldn't
boiling
apologize
water
to anybody else. That's for sure.
Yeah, definitely not.
But so essentially they're all just kind of like starting their class, and everybody in class is just kind of talking amongst themselves, kind of theorizing what happened to Ruse. Mm-hmm. And her like main posse of friends is like, she left at 7:00. Did anyone else see her? You know, kind of trying to do their own little digging about the situation.
Yeah, they blame. So there's like a rumor going around that it's an inlander who is kidnapping European women to torture them. And there's a really, really interesting panel where you see just like kind of this almost beast-like snarling mouth, like with blood all over it, saying that like he basically murders them and eats them. But it's all a rumor. That's not what's happening.
Yeah.
We know what's happening.
We know what's happening. I will say the fact that they're all like gossiping amongst themselves and making these theories, I feel like that's what I'm doing as a reader for half of it.
Oh,
like,
yeah.
How is all of this happening? It's so funny. But yeah, I mean, they're all just kind of amongst themselves talking about the rumors. And Wim seems pretty uninvolved in the conversation. Like
Couldn't
he's
be
just
bothered.
sitting, staring forward. And Saruni is just going through her head like, oh my gosh, like, is Grandpa actually doing something? Does he have to do with these disappearances? How can he be such a great person one moment and not the next? And as she's having like all of these racing thoughts about it, kind of feeling guilty that she's not stepping in more to keep this from happening. Mm-hmm. The girl that we saw previously staring down Wim says, actually on Sunday, I saw them together.
Yeah. And Wim is thrown off by this a little bit. Like you can see he's kind of got a moment of, oh no, what's going on? And then Saruni again, or Camellia again, is going like, wait, okay, we were studying with him, so it couldn't be him, but he went to the bathroom for a really long time, so maybe that's when it happened. And just kind of going back and forth on like what to do.
I know. And technically, like, he was with them until 10. She's even sitting there like, I don't know if I chime in. Do I stand up for him? If I don't stand up for him, is it going to alter the future?
Yeah, like she's also thinking too, like, okay, if I mess up the future, I'm not going to be alive.
I know.
Because this is my grandpa.
Yeah, definitely some Back to the Future vibes. We were talking about this before.
Yes. So we open up with the next episode and we see Wim. He's got his music going. He's like dressing up. He's getting ready for what he calls a special day. And what's happening on this special day is that he is going to play a game of hide and seek with Ruse.
I'm sure that she's a willing party.
Yeah. So we also see that he has kind of a house servant. Like, so there are a lot of servants, but they were sent away. And then there's one who seems to know what he's doing and kind of be complicit in what's going on. And so he's telling him, like, make sure you lock up the house, like, get everything ready for me. And I'm going to go do my thing.
Yeah. So he ends up coming up to Roos, kind of like knocking into the box that she's in and startling her. And of course, like anybody who would be in that situation, she's like really just trying to grasp onto, Wim, I love you. Don't do this to me. We could be together and we can, you know.
I won't tell you. Let me go. I won't tell anyone.
Yeah. Just, I mean, in like a desperate cry for help, essentially. And he kind of like says, wow, I didn't realize. I thought people were just trying to befriend me to take advantage, but you're really just in love with me for who I am. And that's incredible. And she like keeps trying to stick with this I love you story. And he starts cackling at her face. It is absolutely horrifying. And you can just see like the hope and everything that she had just fall.
Yeah. And he says, you know, like, you're a horrible actor. I can tell that you don't mean this.
I know. And she's just tears in her eyes. He's like, don't worry. We're going to play some hide and seek. And I'm a man of my word. If you can make it past me, like if you can stay hidden and you don't leave the house, then if you can keep away from me this entire time, I'll let you go.
And he gives her to the count of 17 to go and hide, which is not a long count.
No, it's really not. I mean, and immediately, like anybody who's been locked up in a box, like her body is probably super stiff and she's just having a hard time. So she's running as fast as she can, but she's tripping over herself. Like it's just kind of a mess. And Wim is just having a nice time calmly counting out.
Yep.
And you just see the desperation on her face as she like picks herself up off the ground, like hurries around trying to find somewhere in the garden or in the house to hide. And he's, again, unbothered, cracking his neck, just taking his time with it.
Getting his crossbow ready.
Yeah. You know, as you do, playing hide and seek. You don't play hide and seek with a crossbow?
I mean, I haven't. Not something that I'm interested in trying.
Nah, me either, I don't think.
So that's where it ends on this one, is that he's like walking out of the shed after he's counted to his very generous 17.
Ah, yes.
With his crossbow, and that's the end of that one.
I will say. So, again, the next episode, episode 21, just kind of opens up with Wim, like, looking around, screaming, found you, when he's looking in all of these common places. He, again, runs into the cat, or the grandma, depends on who you are. But he runs into Felix. And essentially is like asking if he's seen Roos come through.
What if Felix answered? Was like, yeah, Roos is hiding in the cupboard.
Then it is absolutely Saruni, and you cannot convince me otherwise. I wish that was what happened.
That does not happen, but wouldn't it be great?
I know. But as he's kneeling down on the ground, he does kind of see this trail of like knocked up dirt. Or sediment in general, and that the garden door is open. So he knows he's not looking in the garden anymore. And so he goes inside the house. It's kind of like a dreary setting for the house. Like it's a beautiful house.
Yeah.
But it's empty except for like all of this beautiful, intricate furniture. And so as he's looking around, like he's just kicking through doors. He's kind of doing it just very like violently, like harsh movements, quickly opening things, a lot of like sound effects of like swoosh, kick, you know what I mean?
Yeah. And so we see that she's hiding again in this like really tiny cupboard. So he doesn't find her immediately. He is going back and doing that going around where he's kicking those doors in, and he like opens it up and he's like, I found you. And it's just like a pair of shoes. But then she kind of thinks that she's getting away. And she's like, oh my gosh, he didn't find me. It's all good. I need to get out of this house. I've got to run. And she thinks that like now is a good time to start running away. But when she opens the door, he's waiting for her.
Just staring at the cupboard. And honestly, like the way they make his face, it is like completely empty. Like no facial features except for his glowing blue eyes.
Oh my gosh.
Just like piercing through her soul. Absolutely terrifying. And as she screams out, essentially he goes and grabs her hair and rips her backward. He's like, wow, you're really bad at this game. Like what an I mean, like of all the things. Like she's running for her life. You're really bad. I'm actually dying of boredom.
You know what? I'm also really bad at hide and seek because I've never liked tight spaces. So I would just like, when we would play hide and seek when I was young, I would just like walk in a room and be like, this entire room is my hiding spot because like I can't get into a cupboard. I would never.
I would never. I was playing hide and seek with my daughter like literally yesterday. And my husband was like, ready or not? And he looked at me just with like the look of disappointment as I was just hiding behind a pillow. Because I was like, you can't pay me to get into some cramped little spot. Like, absolutely not. But he ends up grabbing Roos by the hair, telling her that he's dying of boredom, and he throws her down the stairs.
Yeah, which, ouch.
I mean, she's bleeding. She's not having fun playing the game either.
And he tells her to run. So she's like, cool, I'm out of here.
Don't have to tell me twice. And as he kind of loses his mind, he shoots her with the crossbow through the leg.
Ugh.
It was awful. He's so proud of himself. And he's just like, he's honestly just tormenting her. He's like, get up. Why are you on the ground? Stop laying around. Get up. And she's, I mean, like shot through the leg, just completely like depleted of any energy at this point.
Yeah.
Like she knows.
And she has a hopeful moment though, because she sees the servant and she's like, oh my gosh, like he's going to save me. She runs up to this servant who we know is complicit in this game and says, help me. Wim abducted me. He's torturing me. Please help me. And this guy is like, hey, she's down here. Come and get her.
So who knows? She ends up finding, though, right next to this servant, Roos does find an exit and she starts running towards the gate. And she's like, oh my gosh, my freedom. And it's so sad. Like the hope in her eyes.
Oh my gosh.
You basically see a panel of her running towards this gate with everything she has and Wim in the background with the crossbow pointed at her.
And it's like hauntingly beautiful too, because we've just gone from this like dark, depressing, dreary inside. As soon as she steps outside, super hopeful, and you can just, like you said, see it in her eyes. Beautiful glowing sunset around, like just the scene change. But then you see him behind her and it's like, oh, you're not gonna make it.
I know. And unfortunately, she ends up not.
Yep.
So as we move to episode 22, she gets shot directly in the back with the crossbow. Like, again, that hopeful scene just completely shattered. It kind of becomes more of like this black and white. So you can see the contrast of her getting shot with the crossbow versus like this bright background. And she just falls to the ground, unfortunately.
And Wim gets mad at the servant for forgetting to lock the door. She wasn't meant to be able to get outside. So that's kind of like, you can see a little bit of crack in his armor there of he wasn't as careful as he should have been. Like he's done this to 17 people or so. And so he's probably getting pretty comfortable of, oh, no one's ever going to catch me. And that's when people start making mistakes. We've all watched the murder mystery documentaries.
I know. Well, he ends up pinning the mistake on the servant himself.
Yeah.
He basically says, if this happens in my next hunt, you're going to end up like her.
Yeah.
And the guy is shaking in his boots. But as soon as Wim like kind of fills his hand with these coins, suddenly all of the scared energy, anything else is gone. He's just in it for the money.
And he's like going to clean up the mess. The creepy smile that he has when he agrees that he's going to clean up this mess is just, it leaves goosebumps.
I know. It's absolutely awful. Well, Wim ends up taking Roos to the garden, and as he's burying her, she's muttering like her last words of, why are you doing this to me? And he ends up talking about how Roos is as beautiful as the flower that shares her name. However, it's filled with terrible thorns, which is very fitting for her. He's like, I'm so sick of these flowers that are beautiful on the outside, but like on the inside, they're just rotten.
Yeah.
And so he just says, he's like, I'm going to have you be reborn into innocent flowers and you should be grateful for me.
Yeah.
Which is wild after everything that we've just seen with his violent game of hide and seek. But after all of that, we're kind of just taken back to a more refreshing scene. You have Mila and Juna hanging out with Tugaman and his family. They're all having lemonade and just kind of having a nice time. And while they're all kind of just talking amongst themselves, Juna seems very lost in thought or forlorn, and he's not really being involved in the conversation at all.
Yeah.
So, I mean, Saruni calls this out. She goes, Juna, are you okay? You know, is anything going on? He's just like, oh, I'm just really enjoying this lemonade.
Must be some pretty good lemonade.
I know. Must be some pretty good lemonade. But basically they're all just talking amongst themselves. And once everyone kind of stops paying attention to Juna, you see his face fall as he looks at Saruni with Tugaman's basically siblings.
Yeah.
And you find out that he's gotten a letter from Saruni, not the Saruni that we know.
The real Saruni.
Who is still in this world.
Yeah. So it really, really is a Marty McFly situation.
It really is. Which is just so much worse for poor Camilla because she's trying her best. But basically he sees it and he starts piecing everything together with the letter. It's essentially, I'm so sorry that I've run away. I'll come back and explain everything later. I just can't right now.
Yeah.
I hope that everyone's in good health, etc. And he's just like, I should have known. Like, this person is a completely different person. Who's the imposter? Her handwriting is terrible.
Her handwriting's terrible. She's really good with the kids where she was not good with kids before. Like, all of these things that he's noticed and said, like, oh, your personality wasn't like this. You didn't like to eat that food. It's all coming together. And he's like, oh, she is a different person. What is going on?
I know. So he's, again, kind of having this internal monologue, just completely concerned. And so our next episode, episode 23, ends up opening up with Juna trying to figure out who the imposter is.
Yeah.
She comes out of the room and she just says hi to him like normal. And he just basically attacks her with, who are you?
Yeah.
You're not Saruni.
Yeah.
And so
he thinks like, are you trying to hurt Saruni? Are you trying to hurt my family? Like,
Have
what
you
is
hurt
going
Saruni?
on? Yeah.
all of the theories. But realistically, he basically like gets her like up against the wall and like keeps her from running away. And she just admits to it. Like, she has this moment of panic where she's like, no one's going to believe me. This is the stupidest thing I've ever heard.
She's like, I'm Camellia. And I'm Saruni's granddaughter.
Yeah, and he's like, well, how the fuck is that possible? But okay.
And then she realizes, too, because she says her last name, that she's the granddaughter of Saruni and Wim.
Yeah. So automatically, Juna's just like, what? She's like, I'm from the year 2020. Can you imagine? Like, hearing that out loud? Yeah, sure you are. But I mean, she really does just like put it all out there. And for some reason, like, Juna does start piecing together these little things that she's said. He's like, it does sound crazy. She literally sounds insane.
She did call Wim grandpa once, though.
Yeah, she called Wim grandpa. And to be honest, she said the word ain't. And I've never heard that before.
That's probably from the future.
I found these reasonings so funny.
It really was.
But in the end, he ends up believing her. He's like, yeah, sure, I believe you. Some things don't need an explanation, like aliens. And I'm like, I mean, okay. Like, okay, Juna, you just keep thinking whatever you want.
I mean, it seems like he should have maybe put up a little bit more fight before believing. He came around pretty quickly.
They're kids. Who knows? I don't know. We're sitting here theorizing about a cat being a grandma. Realistically, is it that
Yeah,
hard?
okay.
Is the time travel the part that we're caught up on now? But anyways, she basically explains everything. She's like, I fell into a ditch and I've been stuck here ever since. I don't even know if I can return to the future. And he's like, you could stay here.
And he starts asking all these questions like, does Indonesia become independent? What's it like? What things have developed? And Camelia's kind of like, ooh, I don't think that I can tell you all of this because I don't want to change things in the future. But I will tell you that Indonesia does become independent.
Yeah. And he's
like,
so
yes.
I know. He's so excited. He's like cheersing. He's like, oh my gosh, I can't wait to live a really long life so I can see it myself.
Yeah.
Which is so sweet. But they end up hearing a rustling outside the window. Mm-hmm. And as Juna looked around, he ends up seeing that there's just a bunch of chickens. which, you know, soft spot in my heart. I'm a chicken mom.
Not mine. I see the chickens and I'm like, oh no, please get them away.
Well, he does see chickens outside and he's like, oh, thank goodness it was just some chickens rustling. But was it?
No, it was not, because we see Wim hiding around the corner looking like, oh my gosh, I almost got caught eavesdropping. And guess what? He knows that she's not Saruni, which it doesn't really say, like, so then he's kind of piecing together. Oh, I love because he says, oh, on this box, the phone, I found this tag with her name, Camellia, on it. So, like, yeah, maybe she is not Saruni.
I will tell you right now, still to this day, the most controversial moment of this webcomic for me is the fact that her own background on the phone was her picture.
Yeah. Yeah.
But yeah, he ends up putting it together. He's like, wow, her name is the same as her, like her favorite flower is the same as her name. Which to me, I'm also like, that's a little self-absorbed.
I mean, yeah. And he realizes, oh, this is my granddaughter. This is interesting. Where's Saruni?
Oh my gosh.
So, next thing we see is Ruse's dad comes to the school and storms into the classroom and arrests Wim for the disappearance of his daughter.
Yeah, I mean, the girl who had spoken up and said, I saw them together. I mean, it's pretty damning to have a witness like that.
Yeah.
In this case. And everyone's just like, oh my gosh, did he murder all of those women? What the hell's going on? And even after the teacher tries to break it up, the father's just like, absolutely not. This guy's going away in handcuffs.
It's also, I mean, he's not a police officer. So I just feel like he shouldn't be involved in the arrest.
I mean, you know what, though? If it was your kid, you'd be involved. You'd be as involved as they'd let you be.
Yeah, well, they shouldn't let him be this involved.
They shouldn't, but who am I to say?
Yeah.
But you do see, I mean, Camilla starts feeling a lot of regret towards this.
Yeah.
So she starts having flashbacks of just her grandfather and how much she loves him. At this point, I did make my own theory. I was like, what if his 96th birthday wish was actually just that, like, he said that his wish was one thing, but it was actually, he's like, I hope I can murder my granddaughter.
I mean, what a wild theory. I don't think that's right. I'm going to go on the record now and say that I disagree.
You never know.
But I do think, like, is this one of those, it always happened? She had to go back for Wim and Saruni to end up together?
Maybe.
Like, it just feels like a which came first, the chicken or the egg, which came first.
You know what, though? I'm going to stick with it. I don't think this was meant to happen. I don't think this had to happen for them to get together. Just devil's advocate.
But she ran away. Like, she probably ran away in the past. So, Wim, like, I don't know.
I don't know.
When she comes back, is that when they get together? After he's already killed all these people? Maybe you're right. Maybe he killed all of these people. And then when Saruni comes back and he gets close to her, he's like, well, I can't kill anyone anymore because I am in love with Saruni.
I don't know.
And now this is like throwing a wrench in the plan.
I'm going to say it right now. I think that she was not supposed to come back in the past at all. Mm-hmm. And that no matter what, everything that's happening is altering the future because this period of time is supposed to be Saruni gone in general.
Yeah, I'm really interested to see if we find out where Saruni is, if she comes into the story at all. Like, if we see them together.
Yeah, how would they explain it? Oh, I'm so interested. We're hyping ourselves up right now.
Yeah, I cannot wait. I feel like we're just talking ourselves in circles at this point.
Yeah.
So, outside of that, moving on, he goes off to jail, and Saruni is, having all of these thoughts back to her grandpa. That's the end of that episode. We move forward in the investigation, and Camellia and Kat are talking to each other, and they say, oh, like, he was with us. We need to go down and tell them, like, he was with us, basically.
Yeah, they didn't have to go down. They end up getting asked anyways.
They're getting asked down.
So they do. They have to go in, and they're getting interrogated by the police.
Which, I mean, okay, yeah, it's bad. Like, the police officer is, like, blaming Saruni Camelia Saruni, and saying like, oh, were you a part of this? Like, I know that you guys had an altercation at Kat's uncle's party. Like, did you ask Wim to kill her for you?
Everyone says you guys are real tight.
Yeah, kind of trying to just put the blame, just trying to, get under her skin and say like, yes, I did it kind of thing,
But she's really, she's just trembling, and she's trying to be as honest with it as possible. Like, she explains that they were studying together from, like, 11 a.m. to 10 p.m. And when he asks, did he leave at all during that time? She's like, oh, my God, he went to the bathroom. How long was it? It was, like, maybe 30 minutes. Do I say that? Am I about to get him stuck in jail?
Yeah.
And, the guy is also staring at her.
Even if it was 30 minutes, like, is that enough? Because she doesn't know that Ruse wasn't killed immediately. Or if Ruse was killed. So she's like, is that enough time to kidnap and kill someone? Like, it just doesn't feel like even 30 minutes would be enough time. So just conflicted all around. And, really, they make the interrogator in this just look so creepy, too. Like, the artist of the series just does a great job of really giving that contrast of, like, bright and cheery versus creepy or scary or thriller, putting that like creepy eyes and the kind of black film over it. It just works so well.
It really does. But the investigation ends up getting called off. One of the officer comes in and just says, never mind, he's been released. There was a different eyewitness that said they saw her with someone else, so it's fine. And Camelia's taken aback. She's like, she's relieved because she's having this internal monologue of, I don't want to be the reason he's in jail or not.
But Wim is still in jail at this point. It's just that she gets to leave.
Yeah.
And so she's like, I've got to find out for myself what's happening. And so she goes to Wim's house and wants to see if she can find Ruse's body in the garden.
Yeah. And she does. She ends up leaving and she gets to the garden herself. And that's where we get to open up on episode 25. It's in like the dead of night. And when I tell you that the hair on my arms was standing straight up, I was so scared about what she was going to find or what was going to happen.
We knew she was going to find Ruse.
I know. We knew she was. I was scared that Wim somehow had gotten released.
Oh my gosh.
So.
Yeah, I guess I could see with the setting, you would think. Also, I have to say, so she finds basically the fresh grave. She sees the dug up ground and she sees Felix again, of course. And she digs up Ruse and starts to see that Ruse is there. It doesn't, unless I miss this, it doesn't show her reburying the body. So did she just leave Ruse there? Because they're going to find her eventually if she's exposed now. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I have no idea. And honestly, it doesn't show it. But, she's just kind of having her internal monologue and sitting there for a while. Which, I'm going to be honest, if I just discovered a dead body, I feel like that'd be the last thing I would want to do.
Yeah.
I would not want to sit next to it.
I just think, I guess with she's having a lot of, conflict within herself of what to do. But if she's really worried about, if I change what happens now, Wim is going to go away and then my family is not going to exist anymore, you'd think she would rebury the body.
You would think so. She probably did. They probably just didn't say so.
I just want to know.
You want the closure.
Yeah, I need the closure.
But she has a different plan of her own. She basically, in the garden, she sees Ruse's body, which just kind of, again, confirms her concerns and suspicions. But also, she kind of just starts talking to herself. She's like, how can he be this amazing person 1 minute and then the next minute he's murdering people?
She's thinking does he have, she's having a moment that we have where we're just bouncing theories off of each other, but with herself, she's like, maybe he has multiple personalities. Maybe he's multiple people. What's going on?
I know, exactly. And so she kind of devises a plan at the beginning of episode 25 where she's like, I'm figuring it all out today. She takes a kitchen knife.
Which, yeah, I want to know what she's planning on doing with the knife.
Yeah.
Because in her mind, she's thinking, I'm going to go to the jail where he is and confront him and talk to him. Like, what is her plan?
I don't know. I will say she immediately bumps into Juna. So you can kind of tell she's not really practiced in being sneaky. Mm-hmm. Because Juna's like, what are you doing? And part of me was like, what if she just fell over and like stabbed herself with the knife on accident? And then her plan is completely foiled.
That would not fit with the story.
It would not. But you can tell I read some comedies every once in a while. But basically, like, she just says, oh, I'm going over to Kat's house. It's fine. And she's kind of using this as, like, her goodbye to everybody. Mm-hmm. She just kind of accepts, like, maybe if I've figured this out or if I can figure it out, like, I'll never be coming back.
Yeah.
You do see Juna definitely crushing on Camelia, which is just, I mean, the age difference is just not going to work out for me. But basically, they're trying to part ways, but Juna is definitely in a different spot than her. Like, she's accepting this as goodbye. He's like, can I call you your real name when it's just the two of us?
And she's like, sure.
Sure you can. You'll never see me again. So it's fine.
It's fine. So we open up on the next episode then. Like, basically, we see her goodbye, and then it cuts to Wim being interrogated by this, like, giant police officer, and he's basically just like tied to a chair in a room being hit in the face and like, you know, intimidated in trying to say like, oh, you kidnapped her, you killed her, you need to say what's going on. And then in the middle of this, the like captain, the police chief, whatever, comes in and says, oh, it's not him. We have to let him go. And when he comes back out, he's just like, oh, I'm sorry that my police officer was kind of a little too rough with you. We'll make sure that this gets fixed. Mm-hmm. And we see that Wim's father is the reason that he gets out of jail.
I know. It's so twisted. And I don't know if Camilla really knows about like what her great-great-grandfather or whatever is like.
Yeah. It doesn't seem like she does. She kind of says, oh, that looks like Grandpa's dad. I don't know what's going on. He looks very similar to Wim. Mm-hmm. Like they both have the bright blonde hair. They both have the blue eyes. He's got like the goatee and the mustache. Mm-hmm. And
a little like, Colonel Sanders looking.
He does. He really does. So he's like, let's go home. And then you see Camelia is kind of watching this. And when he gets home, or I guess even before that, so then we see that Ruse's parents come down and are saying, like, how could you let him go? You know he did this. We know he did this. Mm-hmm. And saying, like, I guess justice is not going to be served because they're a very wealthy family, so they can just buy their way out of problems.
And it's sad.
Yeah.
Because unfortunately it is the truth, it seems like. So Saruni does end up following them back. And she kind of sees this interaction between her grandfather's father and Wim himself. Mm-hmm. And Wim is getting beaten by his dad. So he essentially knows that this has been going on and that this is a pattern. And he's beating Wim for it. It is honestly really sad. It's one of the only moments where I feel like I felt genuine sympathy for Wim the entire series.
You also see that when he threatens to put Wim back in this like closet basically, and you see that he kept Wim in this like dirty, dark, dingy closet when he was younger, and you see a flashback of him and he's just saying, I promise I'll be good.
Mm-hmm. And it's so sad. I mean, he's shaking on the ground. It's hard to feel like genuinely bad for him because, you know, he's a murderer.
Yeah.
But also at the same time, like...
But I do feel bad for him. I really do. I know that this is like, you know, I mean, it doesn't justify his actions by any mean, but it's just the sign of a good story when the characters are just well-rounded.
Yeah. He ends up basically begging for mercy and saying, please, Dad, please stop. I'll be better for Mama. And basically the dad just like keeps going on with the smacking him after this. Like you kind of hope as a reader that this would be the moment that stops him from attacking him. And essentially he says, don't ever mention her in the house again.
Yeah. And so then Camellia sees all of this, and then she sees Wim go outside. He's sitting under the tree that is his mom's tree, and he says, Mama, I'm so happy. Papa said that he loves me and that he's worried about me. But then he kind of switches, and you see him go into that kind of maniacal laughter and saying that, you know, like, he's worried about me, like, to hell with that. Like, I don't care. You put this leash on me. And just kind of going into a different personality. And Camelia's kind of like, who are you? This is not the guy. Like, you can't be the same person.
Yeah. She ends up basically running out from behind him with the knife that she took, saying that Wim would never do this. He would never hurt anyone, let alone his family. And that can't even be the same person. And while Wim is like crawling on the ground towards her, grabbing towards the knife, saying like, what do you mean? And calm yourself. You could really hurt somebody. You know, she's just like, you're right. I could hurt you. Like I can.
And she says, take off your clothes.
Didn't see it coming. I'm going to tell you right now. Yeah. She threatens him and says, take off your clothes. And he says, why should I do that? And she says, just do it. And he says, fine. And he strips down, kind of making fun of her and being like, wow, you're really eager, aren't you? But he does it. And he says, satisfied, which, again, I'm just like, no one wants to see her grandpa like this.
Yeah. And so she's like, I thought you had multiple personalities. Like, she admits to him that she dug up Ruse's body. So now he knows that she knows that he's a murderer. But she is convinced because she doesn't, and we find out the reason she asked him to take off his clothes is because she wanted to look for the injuries that he got at the party on his hand and on his chest when the boiling water was spilled on him. And she doesn't see them there. So she thinks,
she's like, you're sitting there shaking while extending your arm to hand me a textbook. And this is the same person who apparently shot Roose with a heavy crossbow with perfect aim. And she's like, there's no way this is the same person. So, I mean, you see her like piecing this all together. She's like, the cat was so comfortable with his master, but strangely enough, Felix was not comfortable with you when you tried to hold him. And she's like, it all makes sense to myself. You have to be completely different people.
Yeah. And the very last scene that we see is someone saying, stop. And then they both turn and have a shocked look on their face. And that is the end. That is where we are right now.
I will say the next episode is the season finale. And I know at this moment, I had so many theories like rushing through my head. Because part of me was like, what if she's wrong?
What if it is one person?
What if it is one person? I was like, what if the dad is in on it?
I don't think so. And the only reason I think not is because he's so worried about his reputation.
Yeah.
And it seems to be like the most important thing to him. So I just don't think he would do that because I don't think he would damage his reputation.
I know. But essentially, that's where we leave off. By the next time we do the buddy read, we'll have this season finale and be able to hop right back into season 2 with you all. This has been a doozy of an 11 episodes.
I mean, really, it just like, we kind of jumped off a cliff in this one. I feel like we'd been slowly building up all the way and having all of our crazy theories. And now, I mean, I don't even know. I don't know.
All right, crazy theory, it's Felix the cat. The cat is both the grandma and the murderer.
The cat is the murderer. The cat is a grandma. The cat is the murderer. I think that the cat is the reason that she went back in time. That is one I am sticking to. The cat is the answer to something.
And is it Saruni? I don't know. Couldn't tell you.
Where is Saruni?
Where is Saruni?
All of these things we will hopefully find out in season 2.
Absolutely. Well, thank you all so much for joining us on the Comic Queens podcast. Looking forward to talking to you on the next one.
Goodbye.
Bye.